A world without money. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. But something strange has happened. Money no longer exists. No banknotes. No coins. No bank cards. Nothing. If you want something, you have to exchange it for something else. Just like thousands of years ago. You are a farmer. You have worked all year. You have plowed your land. You have planted seeds. And now you have a lot of wheat. But you have a problem. Your shoes are broken. And you need a new pair. So you take some wheat. And you go to the market. You find a shoemaker. You say, "I will give you wheat, and you give me shoes." But the shoemaker replies, "I don't want wheat. I need fish." Now you have to find a fisherman. But the fisherman also says, "I don't want wheat. I want clothes." Now you have to find a tailor. But maybe the tailor wants something that you don't have. And this story could continue for hours. A simple trade turns into a huge chain. Humans had a real problem. They produced many things. But finding the right person to trade with was difficult. This method was called barter. And humans lived this way for thousands of years. But they needed a better solution. Something everyone would accept. Something that had value. Something easy to carry. And this is where the story of money begins. The first forms of money. Money was not originally like what we know today. People in different parts of the world found different solutions. In some areas, special shells had great value. Because they were rare. And everyone accepted them. In ancient China, shells were so important that money symbols were inspired by their shape. But shells also had problems. If there were too many of them, their value decreased. In other regions, people used salt, because everyone needed it. In ancient Rome, salt was very important. Roman soldiers even received part of their payment in salt. But salt was not perfect either, because it could be damaged. So humans searched for something better. The birth of coins. Gold and silver caught their attention. Because they were rare. They were beautiful. And they did not easily break. Humans realized metals could be a great solution. Something small, but with great value. About 2,600 years ago, in the land of Lydia, in a region that is now part of Turkey, the first official coins were created. For the first time, the value of something was marked on a small piece of metal. A coin. A standard size. A standard value. Now people could trade more easily. But soon, a new problem appeared. Some people discovered they could profit from the coins themselves. They shaved tiny amounts of gold from the edges of gold coins. A little from this coin. A little from another. From far away, the coins still looked normal. But slowly, they collected a large amount of gold. Then, they melted those tiny pieces of gold and used them again. Now people did not know the true value of a coin. That is why coin makers created small lines on the edges of coins. If someone shaved the coin, those lines would be damaged. And everyone would know someone tried to reduce its value. When money became too heavy. But coins had another problem. They were heavy. Carrying a large amount of coins was not easy. After some time, you would get tired. So humans searched for a new way. In ancient China, people first used strange forms of metal money. Some coins were even shaped like knives. But carrying them was not convenient. So a new idea slowly appeared. Paper money. China was one of the first civilizations to start using banknotes. Now a small piece of paper could represent great value. People no longer needed to carry heavy bags of coins. The creation of banks. But a new question appeared. If people have a lot of money, where should they keep it? In some ancient civilizations, people stored their valuables in safe places. Slowly, this idea became banks. People gave their money to banks and received a receipt in return. These receipts later played an important role in the creation of paper money. Later, banks grew around the world, and bank cards entered human life. Now a large amount of money could fit inside a small card. Money goes digital. But the biggest change had not happened yet. Then the internet entered human life. And everything changed. Money slowly became invisible. You no longer needed to hold anything. No more heavy bags full of coins. Even banknotes were used less. Money became numbers on a screen. Today, someone's entire salary can move with just a few clicks. A person in one country can send money to someone on the other side of the world. Something that once took weeks now takes only a few seconds. The real reason money was invented. But why did humans really invent money? Was it only to become rich? Was it only to buy more things? No. Money was created to solve a problem. A problem that made human life difficult for thousands of years. How to take what we have and exchange it for what we need. Money is actually just one thing. Trust. Trust that this coin, this banknote, and this number on a screen have the same meaning for everyone. From small shells, to salt, to gold, to coins, to banknotes, to digital money. The main goal never changed. Making human life easier. Because the greatest inventions in history always start with one thing, a problem, a question, and an effort to find an answer. Money was one of humanity's greatest solutions to an old problem. But maybe the next great invention will also start with a simple problem. A problem that no one has solved yet. And a person who decides to find a solution. Because humans have always done one thing. They saw problems and found ways to make life better. Like, comment the next topic, subscribe,